other members on the committee might feel otherwise and more ambitious about it, but I think this is probably a multi-step process. I'm viewing what we're discussing tonight as something that we're hoping to do to try to wrangle and reconcile the remote hearings that we've been holding over the last 6 months. But I think, you know, some of the ideas that the superintendent has raised up here merit a longer look in changing the way that the committee does business long term. You know, and I just as one example, those task forces. You know, we have a wealth of people that volunteer for those task forces, and there's a lot of good work that goes on there. And we hear from each task force once a year, but those task forces meet every month. And I think you get 2 or 3 of the same public commenters at every meeting. And if there was a way to be able to promote those task forces and have timely participation at that level, it's just one additional way to feed into the work that we do here. I think that's a beneficial aim for us to explore over the longer term. So with that, if there aren't any further comments right now, Ms. Oliver Davila, I see you're unmuting. Did you have something further to add?
Not to this. I'm just waiting for new business. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I think we'll return to this perhaps in the next meeting or one of the next meetings. And we might want to talk in the interim a little bit about some of the ideas we've heard tonight and perhaps come up with a proposal. And what I would suggest is, I think, you know, again, if we're trying to get a handle on the duration of these meetings and the order of the meetings, one of the suggestions we heard from Mr. O'Neill, putting a time limit on each member's questions and comments, we might want to start with that and see where that gets us. And I think we could have a little bit of a discussion in the interim here about, you know, what we think those time limits look like, and then try to model those over the next couple of meetings. And we'll come back and talk a little bit more about these other ideas as we move along. So I want to thank you folks. We don't get an opportunity very often to have a real exchange like this on an important issue in our meeting. So I thank Dr. Coleman once again for raising this and for other members chiming in, and certainly the conversation this evening. So as the Vice Chair foreshadowed, it's new business time. Is there any new business from the members? Vice Chair.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to just take a moment. All of us received a letter from Asian American students in an open letter, and it's been in the Globe as well. And I know that Mr. Palumbo was responding to some of their comments, but I just wanted to acknowledge that because it was a very strong letter regarding COVID, the pandemic, and the increase against Asians. And so I wanted to, I know that I can speak for everybody on this call that we are in solidarity, and I wanted to publicly say that we are in solidarity. And I know that Mr. Palumbo is going to respond to the comments, and I encourage the response to those comments. And I will also say that I think I've said this before many times. I think I just got a little tired, and so I stopped. But I think it's really important when we talk about Black, African American, Latino young people. That's always our focus, and we often forget that there are struggling parts to the Asian community. And I really want to encourage us to also include Asians in our conversations when we're talking about opportunity achievement gaps, because I think we often think, you know, that, oh, all Asians are doing well, and it's such a stereotype, and that is not necessarily true. And so I just wanted to acknowledge those students and also just encourage us to also be like really cognizant of that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Vice Chair, and thank you once again for raising up those students and that heartfelt letter they sent us earlier this week. Mr. Tran.
I just want to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude to the Vice Chair for speaking up on behalf of the Asian community. I'm at a loss. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tran. Other new business, fellow members? Well, hearing none, that concludes our business for this evening. As a brief reminder, we're back here next week, but we are back here on Thursday, October 8th at 5 p.m. Again, we moved this meeting back a day to accommodate the historic upcoming vice presidential debate that will occur on Wednesday, October 7th. If there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Robinson, second. The vice chair, no discussion or objection to that motion, I'm sure. Ms. Sullivan, please call the roll.
Dr. Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Dr. Rivera,
Yes.
Ms. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Tran,
Yes.
Ms. Oliver Davila,
Yes.
Mr. Lecanto.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
And thanks to everyone again. I hope you have a good night. It's a school night, so get some good rest, okay?
Right.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good luck in the morning.
See you next
Bye-bye.
week.